Well, let's go to Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra. He's the Director of Pediatrics and Maternity at Gaza's Nasir Hospital, joining us once again from Khan Younis. Thank you for finding the time to speak to us, Dr. Al-Farra. Now, the most updated UN assessment we're seeing there is that nearly 55,500 malnourished, pregnant and breastfeeding women urgently need nutritional support. What are you seeing in your hospital?
Okay, my colleague, let me give you a notification about the delay of declaration of famine in Gaza by the United Nations. To come late is better than to not come at all. So our message is they are delayed in declaring about that, but okay. We were mentioned that, and we will give notification about that since 3 or 4 months ago. Now, the situation in Nasir Medical Complex, I want to mention about 2 things. We have out clinic for the patients who are complaining about severe acute malnutrition. The last statistic for the out clinic is 52 cases in 1 day. We used to see just 10 cases, 5 cases in every day. Nowadays, we are seeing or treating 52 cases every day. This is horrible number. This is horrible number and a huge number. Again, the report, they are talking just not about food. They are talking about water and good water. We have an outbreak of acute flaccid paralysis nowadays in Gaza, and we send a sample for investigation in Jordan and inside Israel, and the results will reveal completely that they are contaminated by Campylobacter jejuni and enteroviruses. That means that the water they are using for drinking is contaminated by sewage.
Yeah.
And this is horrible. Reports, yes.
Of course, and when we talk about famine, we're not just talking about the lack of food, but as you said, it's the contamination, the waterborne diseases as a result, the lack of clean water. Can you talk to us about some of the cases that you personally have had to deal with, and in instances perhaps where you could have solved the problem if you had the right medication?
Okay. On last 2 days, 2 days ago, Huda Abu Naja, Huda is 12 years old. She's complaining from severe malnutrition. She came to my office. She was crying with her father. I asked her, why are you are crying? She's lost nearly 15 kilos. She was 35 kilograms, and nowadays she's 20 kilograms. She's not afraid about that. She was having alopecia. Some areas of her hair is lost. Her hair is completely lost. And her hair changed from color from black to light hair, easily pulled. This is due to severe acute malnutrition. She told me, I'm not afraid about myself. I'm afraid about bullying and make a joking from her colleagues, from her friends and girls and girls and boys in her age. This is very painful and harmful for the psychological support for the child. Again, famine is collapsing and very harmful, not just for the stomach. It is collapsing and harmful for the heart of the father, the heart of the mother, as they saw their patient or their child is suffering and they unable to offer anything for him to make him survive. This is unbelievable effect. Also, we are talking about the chronic changes again that's happening for all the child who are suffering from severe acute malnutrition. After the fourth week, this mean after 1 month, they complaining from social problems. They complaining from apathy, from interactive with the social, unable to make comprehension, unable to talk freely, unable to interact with the social around them. even they will not be good in the school performance.
Right.
So this is permanent damage, and it will not be corrected if the food is allowed to get in and offered for them.
Of course, so not just famine doesn't just have physical long-term damage, but as you said, it's also the mental health, especially that children have to go through. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Ahmed Al-Farra from Gaza's Nasir Hospital.
Thank you.
Let's speak to Mr. William Schabas, is a professor of international law at Middlesex University and served as the chairperson of the Commission of Inquiry into the 2014 Gaza conflict. Joining us live now, of course, from London. This famine, glaringly obvious to those that want to see it, but Israel is denying this famine. What does international law, though, say about this, especially now that the UN has come out with this evidence?
Well, international law is concerned with with the responsibilities for the famine. The famine is a fact. We have a very, very credible, authoritative report now based upon a scientific scale. So it's not a subjective determination. It's not just opinions of observers, but this is based on scientific evidence. And of course, your broadcast today has much of the anecdotal evidence from people who are seeing this firsthand in the field. But what interests us from the international law standpoint is the responsibility that states and individuals may have for provoking, for tolerating, and for promoting the famine that is clearly underway now in Gaza. We've been watching this, of course, and talking about the danger of famine for more than a year. But it has, as Hani Mahmoud mentioned a few minutes ago, it has reached a tipping point. And that's why it's now in category 5 of what's known as the IPC scale. So then the questions are, does Israel have a defense? Can they argue that this is in some way justified, what they're doing? And obviously this cannot be justified by the claim of recovering the hostages or of self-defense. What this is, clearly, it seems to me, is an act or a combination of acts that are war crimes. And the High Commissioner for Human Rights has said that in the statement issued some hours ago, that this would be the war crime of starvation as a weapon of war or a means of war. But it's also very strong evidence of the intent to destroy the people of Gaza. And that's now we're talking about the category of genocide. So this is
Mr. Schabas, this is exactly it. It's also about proof of intent. Would all of this evidence stand in court like the ICC or ICJ to support the accusations, not just of genocide against Israel, but also of its leaders carrying out deliberate campaigns of starvation and war crimes?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the responsibility here, these are not unlike a lot of war crimes, which can be sometimes sort of fobbed off on individual soldiers acting in an undisciplined way. These are clearly acts of policy. This is a policy that's at work. And so it's the people at the highest level who are responsible for the policy, including the Prime Minister himself, the ministers, the senior military figures, and others. Mind you, it goes beyond this as well. To those who are contributing to it and who may be accomplices. And this goes beyond Israel, because there are governments that are supporting Israel, that are encouraging Israel. And when we see these acts, which they cannot claim to be indifferent to or to ignore that they're taking place, they have to face the fact that they too may be held responsible as accomplices before an international court or tribunal.
And in your experience, because you served as the chairperson of the Commission of Inquiry into the 2014 Gaza, something that Al Jazeera covered extensively back in the time, that was more than a decade ago now. How does this compare in terms of Israel's ability now, it seems, to do what it wants without real backlash, such as sanctions, for example?
Well, in 2014 and 2015, when the report came out, it, of course, found that Israel was responsible for violations of war crimes and that it was responsible for various atrocities and violations of international law. but there was no serious suggestion of famine by my recollection. And the number of deaths of civilians was somewhere in the range of 1,500, which is so clearly in a different order of magnitude than what we're seeing now in Gaza. So the challenge here, there's another commission of inquiry that has been created by the Human Rights Council, like the one that I was involved in back in 2014 and 2015, and they will be studying this and they will write about this. But these are reports that do what we call naming and shaming. And what we want to do now is lift this into another zone in terms of holding people responsible. Those who are responsible for this should be going to jail for a long time. And that's what we have to work towards now.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Mr. William Schabas, a world-leading scholar of international law at Middlesex University.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.